guys, Heath Graham here with the South Face Media Group Inc. and on behalf of Image, your digital resource for the creative, welcome you to another exciting tutorial. And today we are going to be dealing with creating a certain look for an image that you would like to have on multiple images, and kind of create a workflow that involves creating a preset and applying to all of your images. And if my friends will quit texting me, we'll get right to this. So here's going to be on our first image. This will be our final image. This is what we're kind of looking for, at least something similar to this. And this is an outdoor shoot that we did for a television show that airs on the Pursuit channel. Actually pretty good if you want to check it out, other than them being really, really redneck. It's actually pretty good. So this is kind of the look that we're going for. This is kind of what we had in mind, is going for kind of an old, wore out kind of leather, just hunter look. Just kind of, that's the look we were going for. And so I'm going to redo this whole image and show you kind of how I went about doing it. And hopefully I can get it pretty close. It may not be exact, but I kind of know the look I'm going for. So hopefully I can get it exactly, not exactly, but pretty close to this look. So let's get started. I'm going to hit reset down here. We're in Lightroom 4. I'm going to hit reset, and as you can see, this image is actually a touch out of focus right here. But that is the power of using good software and just knowing a little bit about what you're doing. So what we're going to do is, I'll set this up for you a little bit. This shot was shot with 5D Mark II, a 50mm 1.2 lens, and 2 strobes, one on each side. As you can see in this image, you can kind of see about where these were. So what we're going to do is go through our settings over here, and this is actually going to be really fast. We're going to go down through here, and we're just going to start and work from the top and just kind of work through these settings and see what we like. Exposure is always key. But in this image, we actually like the way our lighting looks. So it's shot, as far as the lighting is concerned, I actually like where it's at. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to move down to my contrast. You could do a whole lot with this, as you can see. I don't want to get way over here because it just looks there's just way too much contrast there. I'm going to put this somewhere right around the -3 mark, or let me get it right. Well, I'm going to plus, my bad. Let's see, -5, -4, -2, somewhere right in there would be fine, probably. So then we're just going to move down through these. We're going to go down to our highlights. You could either crank these, which looks really, really bad, or you could go right around in here somewhere. I'm going to say somewhere around the ballpark of -17, I don't know, that 19, 18, somewhere in that would be fine. Next will be our shadows. I'm going to bump these shadows down to quite a bit here. I'm going to bump these on down to, let's say, 70, 72, somewhere in there. And if you can't get it, if there's a number you're looking for specifically, you can always double click in here. Just hit -72, return, then you've got it. So then we would move on down to our whites. I want to try to move through these pretty quick because I don't want this to be necessarily the focus of this tutorial. But I do want to get my setting pretty close to what I'm wanting. We'll go to about +5 right there. I can probably leave my blacks here. Here's where you're going to see a ton of difference. Again, if you know me, you know this is one of my favorite parts of doing any photo in Lightroom for the most part, especially on this photo, because this is what I'm going for. I could wash this out a whole bunch over here, which is not what I'm trying to do, because we're going for detail in this image to try to achieve the old wore out leather look. And I'm going to crank this bad boy all the way up, which just made a humongous difference. It just brought all of my eyes completely into focus, which is just ridiculous that software can do that. But it did. I'm going to move on down to my vibrance. I'm going to put it at about somewhere around the -19. And as you can see, our image, just in these settings alone, it has to do a little bit with these, but in these settings alone, we've just made a huge difference in our subject. I'm going to back the saturation down to about a -5, 6, somewhere in that ballpark. I'm going to go to my highlights down here under region. I'm going to leave highlights at 0. I'm going to leave my lights at 0, and then I'm going to get to my darks. I may touch them just a tad, maybe let's say -6, 4, 5, somewhere in that ballpark would probably be okay. We'll just leave it right there at -5. I'm going to go to shadows, and I'm going to crank these down quite a bit. I'm going to go to shadows to -20. I don't know, 24 looks good. Move on down, and again, we're just going down through these. I like working from top to bottom. We're going to get down here to shadows. I'm going to skip all this in here and not even touch any of that. I'm gonna go to shadows. This is gonna be cool right here. We're gonna crank these all the way. I don't recommend doing this on every photo, but for the particular look that we're going for in this, we're gonna crank it all the way. I'm gonna put my radius to about, heck, let's just crank it 3.0. This is starting to look really good. Masking, I'm going to leave that at 0. If you wanted to make this a little softer, you could go over here and crank it. I'm not going to do that because I want to keep every bit of sharpness and detail in this image as I can. So I'm going to leave it back right there. On the masking, we're going to leave it alone. We'll go down here to luminance. I'm going to put that at 2, maybe. That looks good to me. We'll say we're going to leave our luminance at about 2. We're going to leave our detail at 50. I'm not even going to touch that. I'm not going to touch the contrast, and I'm not going to touch the color. And I really don't like this whole image, and so I'm going to crop it right here. We're going to go to the crop, bring it over to about midstream on the nose right here. Let's bring that to about the first knuckle right there. Hit return, and there we can see a dramatic difference in our image. So here's the point of this whole deal. We have a look that we like, and I'm a big believer that there's not really one preset out there that is a fix-all for every one of your images. I do believe it is a start to, if you're wanting a certain look, it's a good starting point because a lot of images are going to be different, and you may have to do just some tweaking, but it is a great starting point, and I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. So we have our look that we like for our family of images, and what this will do is when you create this preset, it's going to save you a lot of time in your workflow. This didn't take very long doing this one image, but if this were to be 45, 100 images like this, you wouldn't want to have to go through there and do that every single time. So we're going to go up here to develop and put new preset, and I'm going to title this, he's the Great White Hunter. Let's just title this Great White, and all of us that are watching this tutorial will know what it's referring to. Great White, you're welcome. This is Brandon, by the way, in this picture here. Hope you don't care that we're using him. Everybody say hi to Brandon. Hi, Brandon. Hi, how are y'all doing? He's really redneck, in case you were wondering. Anyway, so we've just created our preset, and what it does is it'll put, we obviously have a ton here that I've created over time, but it's going to drop that down here into our user presets, and now we have the preset Great White right here you can see on the left. And so now what we're going to do is go to the next image, which was shot in studio in the exact same setting environment, the exact same everything, except for we have a different subject. This is Charlie. Everybody say hi, Charlie. And Charlie would probably respond with a what up, something along those lines. Anyway, we're going to now, all we have to do is go over here and apply this preset. So we're going to go over here and look for Great White. And it's going to put them in alphabetical order. There it is right there. Now watch what happens. Double click that. And there you can see it just applied it all. I'm not even going to touch this image anymore. I like it right where it's at. What if we wanted this same exact look in an outdoor setting, a total different environment? We're going to go to our next one. We'll go back to Brandon in the next shot. There it is. Actually, we'll go to this one, Brandon and Charlie. Let's go to Great White. Double click on that. See what it does. Boom. There it is. Now in this one, this gives us a great starting point, but in my opinion, this shot is a little bit overexposed. So like I was saying, there's not really a one fix-all for everything all the time. And so on this image, I would back my exposure down quite a bit, maybe to like a 1.15 right there. And obviously that just helped our image dramatically. But the key is that's all I had to do is make one setting because I had a great starting point. We could go to the next image in the same type of environment. This is Brandon doing the sneaky sneak on a giant whitetail, and I'm going to apply the Great White preset, which you see right there. There's some of my friends doing Facebook updates. Again, exposure is a little bit much in this one. I'm going to back it down, and with all of that, we just went through 4 images in literally no time, and that's pretty much it. Basically what we did was created our own look, our own preset, and whenever we went up here to develop and we went to a new preset, we saved it, and it saved every one of those settings that I just went through. And now we can apply the Great White preset to whatever image we want to keep our images in sort of a somewhat family, so they all have that certain look. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, this is for beginners, novice, maybe to intermediate type Lightroom users. I'd love to have you register for Image. It's an awesome publication that is just full of resources if you're into anything creative. We're dealing with photography today. If you want to register for this email and get this preset that we just created absolutely free, we'll do that for you. Just log in and give us your email so we can keep in touch and keep you up to date with everything we're putting out. It's absolutely free. All we ask is that we can keep up with you and get your email address and keep up with you. We won't give it out to none of them crazy third parties or nothing like that. It'll be strictly used for resources for the creative. Again, I'm Heath Graham with the South Face Media Group, Inc., and I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial. Be safe and God bless.